She's a fashion blogger, model, and entrepreneur.
She's amazing.
The latest tips on fashion, beauty, wellness, travel, and her lifestyle. And now, here's the founder and creator of Not Basic Blonde, Olasha.
Hi, Kyle. Welcome to Not Basic Blonde podcast. So glad to see you.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm very excited to be here today and to talk about all of the things that we can expect in 2026.
Amazing. And with you being famous astrologer for huge media outlets like ABC News, People Magazine, Cosmopolitan, and so many more, we would love to know a little bit more about you, just briefly, and then we can dive in.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been involved with media and entertainment my entire life. And I also have been very spiritual and invested in understanding humanity my entire life too. So I started studying astrology when I was 8 years old, so 30 years now. And I have done a lot of research on, how we can use astrology to create the life that is hopefully going to lead us towards fulfillment. Now, there are many different aspects and tools that we can utilize with astrology, and that's why I always say that it's an art form, and it's the study and research of the flow of energy. And so hopefully by harnessing that energy, we can find that love that we hunger for, or build that career in the way that we want, and hopefully make the world a better place. So thank you again for having me. My website is kylethomasastrology.com. I have tons of horoscopes on there, and I really love engaging with my community. And hopefully again, I was mentioning before, use my skills and my talents and my light to radiate in the darkness. So yeah.
Thank you. And as far as 2025 compared to 2026, what do you think major astrological events, how this year will be for us?
For sure. Well, at the beginning of every single year, we always kind of want to think in the terms of black and white. Like, is it a good year or is it a bad year? And in reality, there is no such thing as just a good year and a bad year, because we are dealing with many powerful cosmic energies at all times. Now, there are certain planets in our solar system that tend to bring more blessings and opportunities to us. And then we have some planets that are, known to bring us a little bit more of a sense of challenge or roadblocks or karma. And we're going to deal with this every single year, because these planets don't disappear, and they'll always be moving through the heavens and, helping the human collective evolve. But also in our individual zodiac signs and natal charts, we're going to be seeing those kinds of situations throughout every year of our lives. Now, backtracking a little bit, I really felt that 2019 was sort of the end of an era, and the 2020s are very monumental for us because we've already seen a lot of change happen in the last couple of years. If we look back to 2020, we look at the pandemic, and it's really interesting because each year has been like a different chapter since that period in time in the pandemic. And again, we are able to see that by charting the planets, there are going to be certain situations that are presented to us at any given time. Because again, the planets are moving into different zodiac signs, they're moving at different speeds, and they are going to present situations for us to handle. Now, I also say that astrology certainly is predictive. That's why we go to a horoscope, but it's productive. So that's why, even if we do have some particularly challenging energy this year, I do think there's a lot of opportunity for us to hopefully build more of a life that we really enjoy, So some of the energies, going back to what you were saying about 2025 in particular, some of the energies that we experienced in 2025, we got a taste of what we're going to be feeling more prominently in 2026 and in the years ahead. So on one hand, it is going to be a year that I think is less of an adjustment and doesn't create as much whiplash as maybe 2025 happened with, but 2026, we're going to feel more permanently engaged with that energy. And I'll highlight a little bit about that in a second. Now, we can talk about some of the transits if you like, or we can elaborate on anything else, or I could just dive into the year. What are your thoughts?
Well, I guess let's elaborate on transits because those are major transits happening this year, which haven't happened in ages. And
Yeah.
let's highlight those and we can
Okay,
see.
cool. All right, well, let's just start off and let's look at 2026 in general. Okay, so the first 8 to 9 months, I do really like for a lot of reasons. And that's because as I am charting the planets day by day, I can see that there are going to be certain cosmic alignments and sort of like cosmic weather, we are able to see that there may be more happiness or opportunities at certain times when the planets are more aligned. Now, January had some really great energy, and there are a lot of really beautiful alignments in the year, in the months ahead. Now, February is going to be really rough. It is one of the most challenging months of the entire year, unfortunately. But again, I think whenever the universe is presenting challenges to us, it's an opportunity for us to take a step back and really evaluate our priorities and how we engage with energy, people, and with our goals. July is also going to be kind of crunchy as well. And again, this is because of how the planets are really looking at each other and conversing in the sky. So just, be aware of that. Now, once we get into September, we're entering a period that I call the vortex of the past. And interestingly enough, this energy in September is going to create more of a reflective vibration for us all the way until June of 2027. It's a very, very long time. And this is because we're going to have back-to-back retrogrades of our personal planets, which are Mercury, Venus, and Mars. And those planets are very tied to our daily affairs, our relationships, and how we go about everything each and every week and month and day. So, again, I would encourage people that if you are launching a major business or you are launching a major endeavor or relationship or seeking new beginnings, I would try to get those things all together and ready to launch prior to at least October, but you could really try to put a pin in it by September. So that is that. Also, when it comes to these retrogrades, I'll give you a quick list of that. So we have Mercury retrograde, which is not the end of the world as many people may think it may be. February 26th until March 20th. Also June 29th until July 23rd, and then October 24th until November 13th. Mercury is going to retrograde in water signs all year long, which means that we're going to have more of a focus on how we balance our minds, our thoughts, and our communication style with our emotions. And these periods can be periods in time when our emotions and feelings get the best of us and are sort of clouding our thoughts. So it is important to kind of ground, take a step back, and really evaluate how we are connecting in our relationships and how we are processing our feelings during those times. Now, the other very significant retrograde that I will mention for this year is Venus retrograde. And this takes place this autumn as well. And this is from October 3rd until November 13th. And Venus retrogrades are very important to us, and they bring up karmic lessons that have to deal with love, relationships, beauty, art, to a degree finances, and how we experience pleasure. And this is really going to be a crucial period in time for us to really assess how we are engaging in our relationships, certainly over the last couple of years, okay? So this, on one hand, can be really, really wonderful if you want to reconnect with someone from the past. So, an old friend or an old family member or that you've lost touch with or an old lover or, anyone that still holds significance to you. And you can do this in an effort to either, hopefully reignite the spark if you'd like to, if it's a healthy and productive thing to do so. Or you can sort of reminisce, reflect, find closure and heal and let it go. And that's why I think that these periods can be really helpful to us, no matter what our zodiac sign is. So keep that in mind, especially if you are holding a candle in your heart for someone that may have gotten away from you in the recent years. Okay? I mean, even if it's decades ago, you could use this very profound energy to, try to see if you've grown. And that's one of my favorite things about using Venus retrogrades in a positive way, is that we don't have to be trapped in the past. We don't have to be, obsessing over an ex or, always looking at things through rose-colored glasses. We can try to look at them from a realistic sense. And sometimes people separate in life and they have to go on their own journeys. And so they can learn and grow and evolve and become a better version or a different version of themselves. And then during these retrograde periods, particularly Venus or Mars retrograde, people can reconnect and see if they've both grown equally and they're a better match for each other at that point in time. So that's a quick little snapshot of that. Before I talk about some of the other transits, do you have any thoughts about that? Have you, experienced any significant energies around retrogrades and Venus retrograde in the past?
Oh, totally, because Venus retrograde is about love life, and it's just like, I guess, either people come back in your life or
Hmm.
somehow make an appearance in your life. And also sometimes it's definitely chaotic in love life. I don't really like Venus retrogrades because it's not a great time to meet somebody, because if you meet somebody during that time, it's not the best time. And as far as
Well,
work,
yeah, I mean, it's here's the thing. I also want to kind of clear that up for people is that if you do meet someone during a retrograde period, it's not a bad thing per se. It's just that you don't want to make significant decisions during a retrograde or officially start a relationship or get married or, in particular, when it comes to Venus retrograde, make a big change to your fashion or your beauty or your hair. And I've seen this happen before where people will get like cosmetic surgery because the thing is, the planet, from our perspective here on Earth, is moving backwards in the sky. And it could, again, it could be Mercury with communication, or it could be Venus with beauty or relationships. So we can't particularly see those themes as accurately as when the planet is moving forward in a natural direction. So that's why, again, just sort of reflecting, returning, reviewing, taking a step back is really helpful during those times. Now, let's dive into some important transits that are going to take place this year. And a transit, for anyone that is new to astrology or learning astrology, is a movement of a planet from one particular degree to another. So we can see, them moving through the sky, through the constellations, and they all go at different speeds. So when a planet is in a certain zodiac sign, that planet's frequency is going to take on the energy of that zodiac sign. Now, the first planet I want to talk about here is Jupiter. And Jupiter takes 12 years to go around the sun, and it is currently at the beginning of the year here in Cancer. Now, Jupiter in Cancer is one of the best placements for Jupiter to be. It is exalted here, and it brings a lot of opportunity to embrace our emotional life and, look at the foundations of where we are, and in particular connect with family or domesticity or the past. Now, I love this particular vibration. It began in the summer of 2025 and is going to remain here until June 30th of 2026. Now, at that point in time, Jupiter is going to go into Leo. And before I jump into this, I want to take a step back just to kind of explain Jupiter's energy. Jupiter is all about expansion. Jupiter is all about luck. Jupiter is all about pouring more opportunity into our lives dependent on the themes of where it is in the heavens, as well as in relation to our zodiac sign. And, so we tend to see blessings or happiness or growth around the energy of Jupiter. And we tend to really like Jupiter's energy. So Jupiter going into Leo on June 30th of 2026 is going to remain there until July 26th of 2027. Now, Leo as a zodiac sign rules many different things, and we can see that it connects to romance, courtship, dating. It connects to any love that we give. So whether that's to a romantic partner or to express ourselves in our lives. So that's why Leo also rules art, creativity, and performance, and artists, and all of that really exciting energy. Now, Leo also connects to children, and so it's a great time for pregnancy, fertility, connecting with children if you are a parent as well, or even adopting. Then Leo also connects to hobbies and sports and gambling to a degree and games of chance, and it's a very fun, fiery, feisty energy. So when we are looking at this, we can know that for the entire human collective, that year-long period is really positive around all of those themes for all zodiac signs. So that's why if you've read any of my work or seen any of my interviews on TV recently, I've talked about how it is one of the best years in a 12-year cycle around finding a soulmate if you're single, or falling in love. So whether that's deepening your relationship with someone that you are already in a connection with, or finding someone new. So really embrace that vibrant energy, and I like that a lot. Now, one thing I want to also mention too is that in the next couple years, we're going to see that time is going to speed up. And the reason this is going to take place is because many of our outer planets are going to be in fire or air signs, which are very, very assertive or fast-paced, and there's a lot of momentum with those particular frequencies with fire and air. Whereas earth and water signs, when planets are in those particular corners of the heavens, time slows down a little bit, and we focus a bit more on our foundations, and maybe a little bit less adventurous, or a little bit less risk-taking, as we focus on, again, our either immediate surroundings or how we are moving forward in the world. So you may have already heard some of this information when it comes to planets moving into Aries in particular. And we see that this year, Neptune, which is the planet of spirituality, as well as the planet of illusion, delusion, imagination, and that particular vibration, it is going to take on the power of Aries, which this began on January 26th of this year, and is going to last for several years. And I'll give you a specific date about that a little bit later. The thing about Neptune and Aries is that it is going to cause us to really be focusing on how spirituality, imagination, and illusion and delusion are going to be are going to be more of a warlike vibration. So we will want to fight for what we believe in. We will find that we will want to be independent in our beliefs and take charge and go into battle for that. And on a positive note, this can inspire great leaders to emerge around spirituality, or around creativity, or around Hollywood for us in the years ahead. And it lasts until the early 2030s. So, that is something that will be a very particular, powerful vibration that we can see on the world scale. Now, Saturn, which is the planet of life lessons and karma and sometimes challenges and roadblocks, it teaches us perseverance and it encourages us to put in the work into our lives. But again, as I had mentioned with karma, it sometimes is going to bring difficulty to us or the world around the themes of the zodiac sign that it inhabits. It is also going into Aries. And this begins on February 13th and will last until the springtime of 2028. So because of that, we have two very powerful polarizing energies that are battling it out to express themselves in Aries. And again, we'll have karmic situations around leadership, around war, around conflict, around anger, but also about taking charge of our personal destiny and really building a sense of independence and a sense of how we can live the life that we individually want to experience. Now, yes, there has been a sense of war on the collective mind for certainly, the last couple of years, but that is not just caused by these particular two transits. We're also going to be experiencing some other transits that have been linked to world conflicts or, very powerful, transformative, evolutionary wars in, the past several hundred years. And the next one that I want to mention here is Uranus, which is the planet of the future, as well as technology and, social media and AI and astrology. It is going to leave Taurus, where it has been for several years, since 2018. It also danced a little bit into Gemini, which is right after Taurus, in 2025. But it is also going to go into Gemini more significantly and more permanently over the next couple of years, starting on April 25th. Now, this is going to cause us to be experiencing groundbreaking evolution around the themes of Gemini, but also can create some whiplash and a little bit of chaos and disruption around those themes too. Now, Gemini rules, to a degree, it certainly has a powerful connection to communications, especially to our immediate surroundings. So how we think, how we speak, how we connect to our others, how we present ourselves, how we are interweaving with our friends, siblings, networks, all of the people that are closely connected to us. So we can see that there's going to be ups and downs around that. Well, with Gemini being connected to communication and technology to a degree, we'll see a lot of explosions around apps and apps development and certainly social media. Now, this is also enhanced in particular because of Pluto in Aquarius, which really became very prominent for us in 2023 and remains here for roughly about a 20-year period. Now, Pluto in Aquarius is a very profound energy as well, and has been linked to very important struggles and also growth in the past. And again, I want to take a step back. There are certain astrologers out there that are speaking of, world wars or civil wars. And again, we can look at the past as an example of how these particular vibrations were exhibiting themselves. So yes, there is energy that can present that as a possibility of how we are going to proceed. However, I believe that by using astrology, we can reflect on history and we can use it to make wiser and better decisions for our individual and collective growth going forward. So I don't believe that everything is entirely destiny or fate. If that were the case, we would have no free will. So that's why, again, I think it's important to look at the lessons that we're being taught and how we can use them to make the world a better place. Now, I do want to actually read an excerpt from an article that I wrote last year that does detail this information, if that's okay for you. And then I would also, certainly, anybody that wants to read it or share it, take a peek at it on my blog. It is called, I'm going to pull it up right now, Astrology, World Peace, and World War Predictions for the Decades Ahead. I wrote this on April 1st of 2025 and published it on my website. I've also done interviews about this globally with press as well. All right, so I'm going to pull up some of my favorite parts of it. All right, so astrology gives us insight about patterns of society and history. By looking back, we can understand more clearly where we are headed. However, sometimes we undergo powerful periods in time when great change is required, and sometimes scary, painful, and challenging circumstances are thrust upon us. Astrology is not all fate and destiny. We as a human collective have decisions we can make that will impact the course of our species and world for generations to come. We are in a pivotal period in history where matters could invigorate us toward positive evolution by uniting us together, spreading hope and light, as well as building toward progress. However, we could also face darkness, war, and tyranny, as this is reflected in the stars. It is paramount that we focus on peace, compassion, and working together rather than seeing everything as black and white and seeking to alienate others or hurt people who are different from us. Breaking ties globally and living with the warlike mentality is not the way to go forward. Now, let's talk about these transits again. The last time Neptune was in Aries was when the American Civil War took place. In 1861 to 1875, the world saw massive social upheaval, revolutions, and the redefinition of national and cultural identities. Neptune takes 165 years to go around the sun and will be in Aries now until May 23rd of 2039. Yes, so that's the key date. Neptune is the planet of spirituality, but also illusion and delusion. And Aries is the zodiac sign that rules personal destiny, ego, desire, passion, and war. Next, Saturn, the planet of life lessons too, will dance through Aries, echoing these Martian themes and bringing karmic situations around them until April 12th of 2028. Sometimes Saturn moving through a corner of the heavens brings hardship, roadblocks, and challenges around the themes of this specific zodiac sign. And with it being in Aries, again, personal destiny, desire, war, and conflict will become areas of focus in the years ahead. After this, the last time we saw Pluto in Aquarius was during the American Revolution and French Revolution. Pluto is the planet of intensity, power, tyranny, domination, death, and disease, while Aquarius rules the global community and people in large groups. Pluto takes 248 years to go around the sun and will remain here until November 19th of 2044. We can expect that there will be intense experiences for people worldwide, a deep look at how we organize and what role we want power, authority, and control to affect our lives. Now, last to note is the last time Uranus was in Gemini was during World War II. It previously ventured here in 1941 until 1949, a period in global history defined by this global conflict and its aftermath. Uranus is the planet of technology, change, shocking surprises, and space, whereas Gemini also aligns to the people, particularly neighbors, siblings, and close confidants, as well as communications, travel, and daily affairs. Great changes will occur because of this frequency. Uranus briefly entered this piece of the sky in the summer of 2025 and returns more prominently until May 22nd of 2033. So there's lots of stuff going on in regards to that. While it appears that many of these planetary movements foretell war and great conflict, this is really important. I once again implore for people to live with love and compassion for those who are different from you and focus on hope rather than division. Regardless of political associations, we must seek to help those who are in need, work to preserve our environment, and build a global community rather than hating those who are different. Hope, love, and light are more powerful than any darkness, which is what the stars show us every night as they rise against the dark canvas of the heavens. I have faith in the best of humanity. Let's build a let's build a world that reflects that. So, as I had mentioned, that is the excerpt that I wanted to read. It's got a lot of detail. There's certainly other details out there. It's a lot for us to handle, but I do think it's important for us to try to harness these vibrations in productive means rather than sinking into an abyss of despair. So that's that.
That's a beautiful article, and I
Thank
love
you.
it. Yeah.
Thank you.
And the
Um,
stars. Are
yeah,
you
I mean,
thinking?
it's a lot for us to handle, and
Yeah.
but I want, in particular in my work and in the way that I connect with people all over the world, I want to help people. I want to inspire people, and I want to bring light to them. But also, I want to bring them the information that is crucial for us to be aware of. But again, we have free will. If we didn't have free will, we wouldn't be able to work in tandem with the universe and build our paths forward. So, I do believe that we dance in between fate and destiny and free will. So I just implore for people, no matter where you are, no matter who you are, to really hear what I have to say and think about it and really choose light over darkness. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that.
So
Now,
true.
the last things that I want to mention in regards to the specifics of 2026, and I know I've thrown a lot at you all already, are just some important dates. The luckiest day of the year is July 29th, and that's an important day for us to plan something really special, to build a new endeavor. Now, we are dealing with some retrograde energies, in the heavens, but, again, really trying to focus on, planting a seed in your life or thinking about how you can build, forward, harnessing that vibration and really enjoy the moment. So I like that. I also want to bring up the eclipses that are powerful energies related to destiny as well. Eclipses, whether they're a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse, bring up major situations that we have to deal with in our lives. And on the collective, we can also experience the vibration that is occurring depending on which zodiac sign it is being exhibited within. Now, we have a solar eclipse in Aquarius on February 17th. And this is going to be the first eclipse in Aquarius that we've had in several years. I do want you to look back to 19 years ago, if you can. Situations that were taking place roughly about 19 years ago are going to be echoed again now. So think about that. A solar eclipse is all about new beginnings, destined new opportunities. So something new will arrive within our lives, depending on which zodiac sign we are. But because Aquarius rules communities, networks, friendships, there may be more of this particular energy entering our lives on a collective scale as well. We will have eclipses in Aquarius over the years ahead, so this could be the first chapter in a new storybook for you. Next, we have a lunar eclipse in Virgo, and we've been having eclipses in Virgo over the last couple years, and this takes place on March 3rd. And lunar eclipses are like a full moon on steroids, very emotional, very heightened, and major breakthroughs, endings, turning points, and revelations take place near eclipses. And, so we'll feel that frenetic energy. And, we are recording this currently at the end of January. We already be feeling these vibrations build up. and we'll be in eclipse season and already until April. So expect a lot of intense turning points, shifts of fates, and important transitions taking place in the weeks ahead. Now, we will have eclipses later in the year as well. And we will have a solar eclipse in Leo, which takes place on August 12th. And this is a very powerful energy around, again, all of those Leo themes. So new beginnings, new opportunities around love, romance, passion, desire, expression, art, children, hobbies, sports, all of this very fun and vibrant energy. So in the weeks that surround it, in the weeks that follow it, we will notice that that is present on the collective. And then we'll have a lunar eclipse on August 28th in Pisces. We began to have eclipses in Pisces in September of 2024. So the story that you've been evolving upon over the last couple of years will continue to move to the next level around that period in time. And Pisces is the zodiac sign of solitude, imprisonment, spirituality, to a degree, development, and really looking at intuition and situations that are evolving and happening behind the scenes. So we may see that there are powerful culminations, revelations, breakthroughs, endings around all of those particular themes near that period in time too. So yeah, that's again, that was a sort of like a very intense overview of the year. I mean, there's a lot more that I could even go into. And what I would encourage for people that want even more in-depth information is to sign up for my Patreon. And I release daily horoscopes and peer into life and the astrology months and months ahead. And that's why I really love engaging with people there, because they get exclusive access to a lot of content and insight that they can use to plan their lives. I also certainly have plenty of information that is for free on my website. So I would say look at, each month I go in depth, for the month, when it's released. But I also have on my website the overview of the year, and I go into important aspects and collective evolution for all of us there too. So yeah, I provide a lot of resources, and I really hope that they can be of help to people. So definitely check those out. KyleThomasAstrology.com in my horoscopes, and then Kyle Thomas Astrology on Patreon as well. So yeah, that's that.
Incredible. And as far as zodiac signs, for each zodiac sign, if you would tell us briefly
Sure.
what it will mean in 2020.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, there's so much transition that's taking place this year that, I could talk about each zodiac sign for an hour individually. So that's why I would, again, really encourage people to check out my Patreon and my website. So, I highlight, relationships, personal relationships, family, health, success, finances, I mean, you name it. Like, I go into all of the different areas that are really important for people to check out. So I'm not going to highlight all of those right now, but if you want that insight, certainly read or check that out, or schedule a reading with me in person. But let's talk about Jupiter's energy in particular for each zodiac sign, because I think that's probably the easiest and most positive vibration that we can talk about.
And also, when
What was that?
people, yes, when everyone trying to look up their horoscopes, I know some of my astrologers say that you have to look your main horoscope, then you have to look at the horoscope for your rising sign and for your moon. Do you have to check all three to kind of get an idea of your whole picture?
Well, I think first and foremost, working with a professional astrologer like myself is going to give you the most in-depth insight of what is going on, because I chart everything by the degrees of an individual's chart. And there are many different tools and techniques that astrologers can utilize. I mean, there's so many different kinds of ways of making predictions and also guiding people. I really focus on transits when I'm connecting with people to, again, show them like the door is open to you here. The energy is being poured into your life in this particular way. And you're likely to see certain things from the predictive standpoint, but also if you work with that flow of energy, you're going to get more of an abundance of it and opportunities to expand your life. So that's why I think, when we are diving into our 2026 predictions of each zodiac sign, in a brief manner, I am going to highlight Jupiter for each zodiac sign. Now, as I had mentioned before, Jupiter is going to be in one sector of the sky until June 30th of 2026. And after that point in time, it's going to dance into a different corner. Now, for Aries or Aries rising, I do want to highlight that there is a greater focus on home, family, domesticity in the first half of the year. So you may be moving, you may be renovating, you may be connecting with family. These are areas that are very potent for you. The second half of the year is going to put more emphasis around everything to do with passion for you. And this could be, when you meet a soulmate connection. This could be really great for love, romance. It's great for expression and fertility, and you certainly will have a lot of opportunity to enjoy yourself. So I really like that energy there. Singles, certainly get out there. You're going to want to mingle. It's good vibes for that. Now, Taurus or Taurus rising, you are going to see that there is an emphasis on your intellectual pursuits and communication-related projects or travel in the first half of the year. So you may be bouncing around a little bit more. You may notice that you're a little bit more social, and you may be learning more or speaking more or working on important intellectual projects, like, let's say, launching a blog or a podcast, or even just getting more invested in listening to podcasts or learning and those kinds of things. Contracts may also be really helpful to you during this time. The second half of the year for Taurus and Taurus rising is going to turn your attention towards more vibration around the stability and security of your life, in particular when it relates to home, family, and domesticity. So you could be finding that you are more eager to connect with your kindred or parents or your close interwoven family or chosen family. And you also may be focusing on the expansion of your home in some way. So this could be in relation to, renovating or updating your space, or moving to a new location, or, getting into real estate or any of those kinds of things. Now, moving forward into Gemini and Gemini rising, this is going to, for the first half of the year, put more emphasis on your prosperity as well as your direct income. However, I always encourage people to make sure that you're putting yourself out there and really taking advantage of the vibration. So, how can you monetize more? How can you, increase your wages? Now, this could certainly be by a raise that happens, but it also could be by you trying to get a second job, or raise your rates if you're self-employed, or, even looking for a better paying job. That could be there for you. Now, the second half of the year for Gemini and Gemini rising is going to bring more of a fast pace and is going to encourage you in particular to focus on how you connect to your immediate surroundings and communicate with those people and, the world. So this can be a period where you are engaged in, learning more, taking on certifications, trying to invest yourself in really honing your ideas and your intellect and engaging with those powers. So I really like that for you. Now, Cancer and Cancer risings are in one of the best periods of a 12-year cycle for them, in particular in the first half of the year. Now, this does bring a lot of opportunity of expansion around personal pursuits. So, in a sense, it's like your whole life is very fertile for you right now. And it is going to be one of the luckiest periods of a 12-year cycle. But the key, again, that I always encourage with this is that you don't want to sit back and wait. And you need to kind of use this time to think about what you want to build, what you want to experience in the next decade, and lay the seeds now. Now, this isn't a time of culmination. You're not going to get all of your dreams to come true. You're not going to get everything to just manifest out of thin air. But you need to use this time to think about how you can take steps to building that life. So there will be new beginnings, personally, professionally, but again, harness that vibration. In the second half of the year, there's more of a focus on how these goals and these plans are going to blossom and flourish and come into manifestation. So you'll see certainly more of that. But in particular, you're going to see how your talents are paying off in a financial way. So there could be an increase around your income. There could be an increase around finances and all of that. Now, moving forward into Leo and Leo rising, the first half of the year is going to bring an emphasis on stillness. Now, I also think this is a very important period for development, which, to be honest, could be a little bit more of a slower period for you. And that's not a bad thing. As much as you may be wanting to race forward and dive into, creating the life that you want and manifesting everything, this is a time to really, like a caterpillar, be in the chrysalis and think about what you want in the coming decade ahead, because your golden era begins in the second half of the year. And this is really crucial for you to, again, as the doors open for you, step into the spotlight and harness those really, beautiful cosmic vibrations and leap and adventure and take steps to, really pursue your personal and professional new beginnings in every single way. That will be the onset of one of the luckiest periods of a 12-year cycle for you. You've been waiting for this, certainly, so make sure that you don't waste a day of it. Moving on to Virgo and Virgo risings, there is a lot of emphasis on your social life, as well as aspirations, goals, and how you pursue these hopes and endeavors in the first half of the year. Now, you may be spending more time with your social network or your friends. You may be meeting new people or expanding your community or getting involved in communities. There is also an emphasis on how you can ask for favors and build towards your very significant long-term goals. So really focus on that. Now, the second half of the year is going to be a little bit slower for you. You will be focusing on how you are developing, who you want to be, where you want to be, and what is really important for you to heal and release and find closure upon in order for you to evolve and move forward in 2027. Libra and Libra risings are seeing a lot of emphasis around their professional life, as well as public recognition and, anything to do with their career in the first half of the year. So you could have opportunities to grow if you've been in the right lane. So if you are, you may see promotion, you may see success or glory, but it could also be a period in time where you decide that you want to change your career. And so this is really important for us to note around those themes. Then the second half of the year for Libra and Libra rising brings a very celebratory energy to you. So this can be, again, related to your communities, your friendships. You can meet a soulmate platonic connection. Online dating is also really great for you. And asking for favors and trying to expand your sense of happiness in every single way is really going to be important to you. Now, moving forward to Scorpio and Scorpio rising, the first half of the year is really important around all senses of expansion. So how you perceive the world, your belief systems, and how you are taking chances to pursue personal and professional growth. Now, this can see people go back to school. This can see people traveling more. This can see people are invested in media endeavors or legalities. People may be, diving into community endeavors or even spiritual insights. So there's a lot of activity. No matter what, though, it's all about how you can take chances and be adventurous to move into this next particular chapter. The second half of the year for Scorpio and Scorpio rising does put emphasis on your career and your professional endeavors. So this is a highlight. This is a very explosive, positive vibration for you. So again, if you are in the right lane, if you are in the right path, you're going to see glory, success, recognition, fame, and opportunities to really build your career. If you're not in the right flow, you're going to need to change direction. So just be aware of that. Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising, in the first half of the year, there's a greater focus around intimacy, trust, as well as wealth matters. So this is really important for you to take advantage of this vibration. So it could be great for assets, investments, anything to do with large wealth matters. So really pursue that. Now, the second half of the year for you is going to be about how you can take chances and adventure in every possible way. And so you're going to be feeling very fired up. You're going to be feeling very excited about how you can pursue, a sense of growth and perception and fly. You're not gonna want to be contained. You're gonna want to go in every direction at once and pursue everything you possibly can. So I would encourage you to really enjoy that free spirit that you have at that time. Moving forward to Capricorn and Capricorn rising, the first half of the year is really putting a lot of energy on core partnerships. Now, this could be anything to do with contracts, vendors, direct business relationships, business partners. So it could be like an agent, a manager, a business partner, a trainer, any of that kind of vibration where you're seeing that grow or you find that individual. But it could also put a lot of emphasis on personal relationships, in particular, significant romance, a marriage partner, and making promises or getting married or taking things to the next level at that point in time. So just keep those energies in mind. The second half of the year is also going to enhance your relationships and give you an opportunity to heal any wounds if there have been any traumas around relationships, but also grow around how you invest yourself. Also see returns from those investments of relationships, and you also may have opportunities around building wealth too. Now, for Aquarius and Aquarius rising, we are seeing that there's a lot of energy, in particular around productivity and how you build your routines and responsibilities in the first half of the year. So we could see that there's a lot of emphasis in particular that has to do about your employment, your work and life balance, but also to a degree, your physical health. So you could be finding that these are areas of growth, like you find a better job or you take on more work or you get into a better fitness or diet plan. So I would want you to really think about those particular things. The second half of the year is going to be one of the best periods of the year of a 12-year cycle for you around any relationship, Aquarius. So there could be opportunities to take steps to the next level. You could find a soulmate connection, a soulmate partner. And this could also really invigorate you around marriage, contracts, moving in, or getting engaged. So this is something that you've been waiting for. Last but certainly not least is Pisces and Pisces rising. And we are going to see that there's a lot of opportunity around passion and expression for you in the first half of the year. I really love this vibration for you because it is going to allow you to just live in the moment more and is going to give you opportunities to enjoy your desires, to harness your magic, and to focus on what you love and who you love and how you can love more. And if you are single, this is a very significant energy to find someone that lights your heart on fire. But your heart's desires across the board are really open to you right now. So if you want an artist, it's a great time to get involved in that. If you are invested in sports or your hobbies, this could be a really great vibration for you. And certainly any energy in relation to children. The second half of the year is going to speed things up for you, and you're going to have a lot to juggle. And there's going to be more of a focus in relation to your responsibilities, your productivity, how efficient and effective you are. And you're going to want to make sure that you do, keep everything in line, because you'll have a lot of irons in the fire to handle. So I certainly would say, keep track of everything, check your schedule, and if you want to improve your physical health or your employment, this is energy that you could harness at that point in time. So look out for that better job, or meet with a trainer or a doctor and see how you can be stronger and healthier as you proceed. So those are the quick snapshots of where the opportunities are going to be for each zodiac sign. But as I had mentioned before, if you want further details, certainly schedule a reading with me or look at my website or my Patreon.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kyle, for such a great predictions and all the major details and events. It's incredible. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for
Yeah,
being my guest.
absolutely, absolutely.
And where can
Thank you
our
for having me.
listeners find you? Just to mention it again. So,
I'm sorry, what was that?
where can our listeners find you? Your social handles, all the information.
Yeah. So my website is a really great resource. It has links to all of my social media, as well as horoscopes and information on zodiac signs. That's kylethomasastrology.com. You can also sign up for my newsletter there. You can also find exclusive content on my Patreon, which is patreon.com/kylethomasastrology. That community is really special and important to me because I'm able to interact more directly with everyone, and I can give you exclusive access to predictions months in advance when you sign up, as well as specific content that is never going to be released to the public. And I just love that. There's this sense of deeper connection that can be found there. So there's 3 different tiers that you can sign up for. So just kind of take a peek at that. The Supernova tier is the one that has instant access to everything as it's released, and the information for months ahead of time. So I hope that you connect with me there. And then my Instagram is my preferred social media platform, and I interact with everyone there. My handle is at Mr. Kyle Thomas, so it's MrKylethomas. I have a lot of exciting projects that are happening in the media and television and the press, as well as some new music that we're releasing around astrology too. So keep a lookout for everything as it arrives, and I send my light and love and my best wishes to each and every one of you out there from today until always.
Thank you so much, Kyle. Thank you for being my guest.